Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, Giants fam? Welcome to the BBO NYG Podcast. I am Mike. That's John. Jules is here. He's going to grace us with his presence, taking time out for, I think you named 11 fantasy football leagues that he's in next week. We're going to have a little fantasy show next week after our draft because we can't give clues to each other. But, yeah, man, it's that time of year, man. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, it's more than just that time of the year for me, bro. This is like, this is like a science, a religion. I don't care what you call it. I'm busy. I'm busy all week now. Like, that's it. Like, you can't talk to me. I don't have free time again until fucking Saturday if I'm lucky. And I'm recovering. I'm sitting there and when you're distracted like that, you come off of a big draft on Friday, and there was supposed to be one scheduled on Sunday, but that had to get rescheduled for this coming Thursday. And all you could think about at this point in time, like on today's podcast, going into it, I'm trying to think of the Giants, trying to think of preseason, trying to think of some other topics that we're going to cover as far as the game and injuries and some other haters clubs and all this shit. Mm-hmm. I can't get fantasy out of my head, dude. There's no fucking way. I must have done about 4 mock drafts already in like the last hour and a half.
I lose my
mock drafts.
You got to get that shit in, bro. You got to put different scenarios. I'm a psycho.
Yeah,
I'm ready for everything. 11
drafts.
In the draft.
Yeah, 11 fantasy drafts. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's fucked in. 11 too many for me.
Yeah, you didn't even do one, right, John?
Nah.
Technically, it's 6. I'm a really strong advisor on another, and I help draft another.
Strong advisor.
Strong advisor. That's the way I like to put it. I don't want to give it away about my cousin in case any of his friends that are in that league listen.
I'm an advisor.
I won't say what cousin because I got a couple of cousins. Right? I got quite a few cousins, so you don't know which one I'm really talking about unless you do, right? I help him with his draft a lot, and we've progressed through the years. So
it's almost like it's your draft in a way because I'm a super advisor too. Because the guy that wants me to do it, he's kind of like doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, but he's kind of like grandfathered into doing it with his group friends. So he asked me to draft in front of in his place. So yeah, man, I get it, man.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
There. It's a lot. It's work, man. It's another job. It's definitely another job.
At least for this time of the year, it becomes really difficult because I was looking like, I also do like 3 baseball teams, and my baseball teams were in really good, actually 4, but I was in really good shape. And the last couple of weeks, you'll see like I'm on a 3-game skid. I'm on a 3-game skid in this league, a 3-game skid in that league. I lost 2 back to back. I'm like, it's because of fucking football, man. Because guys are still making these like late pickups. They're making adjustments. They're seeing guys are hurt. It's so fucking hard to keep both on both. So I think next year I'm coming back on baseball. Man. I can't. I can't be like this fucking guy anymore, bro. It's like just too much. I'm gonna have to hire somebody to fucking help run my fantasy
team. I'm in like 5 myself. So I think after you're pretty above 3 or 4 fantasy leagues that you're in, you pretty much know you have a bunch of degenerate friends. You know what I mean? Different groups of degenerate friends. Because
it's amazing how we all find each other. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like I said, the one I do for charity them all night is with guys I used to work with. It's guys that are like longtime friends. It's guys that I bartended with. Like these are all the different leagues. So it's like no matter where you go, you can find that shit without a doubt,
Sure.
Just kind of like, we'll save the comparison here about how, certain topics and certain things, people learn to find each other. Okay. I think that's a good theme for today's podcast is that no matter what the topic is, there's always that group of people that just seem to find each other anytime anything or a little sniff or something comes up, whether it be in the New York or just the sports world.
Are you talking about Shannon Sharp right now?
We're going to get into Shannon Sharp there, John. I'm glad you brought that up because it does have to do with that receiver and the quarterback that we plan on spending probably a decent amount of this episode regarding because it's going to fall in the haters club. It's going to fall into some of the talk about injuries that occurred. And it's going to tell us just kind of go through this whole fucking thing because it's amazing that no matter how much we talk about it, And no matter how long this guy's been off this team, the minute that fucking Odell Beckham's name gets mentioned, oh my God, here comes this group of fucking Odell fans that come out of the woodwork and they are literally just going crazy. But anyway, that's to come. For now, let's recap some of the game and, of course, some of the injuries that definitely occurred through this past Sunday's game against the Jets.
Well, you don't often see anymore, at least in football, hits the way we saw in that fucking preseason game. Those are two fucking legit fucking hits right there. Teddy Bridgewater just got fucking wrecked, and then
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. Listen to me, fucking. I got bad black quarterbacks in my brain apparently. Tyrod Taylor just gets macked, fucking gets knocked out of the game, and Davis Webb goes in there, and then later on in the game, it was a true hit stick, Madden 2008, fucking just popped the ball up in the air, dude got crushed.
Was that Antonio Williams?
Yeah, Antonio Williams. I couldn't think of his name.
It looked like he got hit out of a job, man. That fucking shit sent them right to the pink slip list.
Yo, that shit almost looked like almost like a cartoon in a way, because he fucking went flying in the air, arms way out of the air, like he was like a scarecrow or something.
It made me laugh.
Ball goes flying in the air. He's like, fuck the football, fuck the NFL. I'm done.
It sure made me laugh.
Yeah, that was like old school hitting right there, because he broke a tackle, and then as he was coming up from that broken tackle, he just got wrecked, and ball just goes straight up in the air like a little league game, and it was just fun.
The funny shit is that that thing hit Bleacher Report, CBS, everything was like, oh, look at the hit stick, Because my brother, he don't fucking watch a fucking minute of preseason football. He's just he's too good for it, right? Never watched the starting for fucking fantasy. We wonder why his team finishes in last place. Whatever, right? But all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up on Sunday afternoon. I'm like, this dick. He's like, bro, did you see that hit? I'm like, I know you didn't see it live. Yeah, I actually watched the fucking game. Yeah, and I saw the shit fucking live. Yeah, he got blown up. I was like, yo, that dude's gonna be on our fucking practice squad, all right? We happen to get fucking hit on fourth running back. Ooh, you blew him up. Great. Good job, bro. That dude's gonna be fucking running practice next week.
You think the Giants keep Davis Webb on the roster?
Yes. I think they're gonna have to. Yes.
I think that injury pretty much gave him the job, to be honest with you. I don't think he's coming back. It sucks that we paid $11 million for 2 years for Tyrod, because Davis Webb is making $100,000 and he could play much better than him.
Well, let's not get too crowded away with that, Mike. We got lots of craziness with that still to come. All right, so don't get too crowded away on that one. There, all right. But yes, I think Davis Webb has to make the fucking team, just because. Look, Tyrod should be back. He should be ready to go week 1, but you can't run that risk. This guy knows the system. He's been with us all preseason, and let's face it, Davis Webb didn't play bad. He played fucking pretty good all preseason. So why would you not reward the guy by putting him on the team? I get it. To me, I don't get why it almost seems like it's such a big deal to run with 3 quarterbacks. I don't get that.
I know,
to me, it's so odd. Oh my God, they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks this year. And it's yeah, right. So, dude, you have your quarterback in the backup. Granted, you don't want to go to your third, but I'm sorry, especially in years past. You've heard crazy stories. What was it? Denver, 2 seasons ago, where they had their fucking wide receiver. They were trying out a quarterback.
Right.
They could, it was 2 years during COVID, because they all were in the COVID together and they all couldn't play and shit. Bro, crazy shit does happen. You know what I mean? Oh my God, it's crazy to run with 3 quarterbacks. I'm like,
maybe because Jules, they're probably they need another guy for special teams. But fuck it. I throw Tyrod out there. Tyrod, you go out and play special teams. We're keeping Davis Webb here. But there's a lot more injuries, dude, in that game. Daniel Bellinger went out with a concussion. Jalen Holmes went out with a concussion.
Oh, Darnay Holmes too?
Darnay Holmes. No, Jalen Holmes. Jalen Holmes, the defensive end.
Oh, okay.
Not Darnay. Yeah, that's not Darnay.
You got me scared. I didn't hear that he got fucking concussed too.
The game got me confused because some guys have the same numbers. The guys that'll never make the team have the same numbers as Sterling Shepard. And you know what I mean?
That's what I had to stop watching the game, bro. I was getting to that point where I'm like, all right, you know what? When I think Sterling Shepard's on the fucking field and it's fucking Oscar Mayer, I'm like, yeah, no, all right, that's it. time to put something else on for Sunday or go out because it's a beautiful day. Like,
Dude, people on fucking social media were arguing about the game. I'm like, these guys won't be around tomorrow, right? You know what I'm saying? You fucking lunatic.
Well, you know what? Maybe we should go there for a quick moment. Does anybody have a person that they think was like, oh man, this guy, yeah, no doubt he's gonna make it, but is gonna be a surprise cut? Someone that you think was like, you know what? No, he like this guy's definitely on the team, but you're like, nope, you know what? He will not be a New York Giant as of Wednesday of this week. Anybody that you guys comes to mind? Who?
Slayton.
Well, I mean, Slayton, I'm praying that we trade. I mean, in all honesty, there, like, it would be great to get something. I mean, fucking anything for him. I mean, it's bad enough that we had to go through that whole Bradbury situation. Had him strung it out for as long as we could. You got some people saying, oh my God, the Giants were terrible to do that. Yeah, sorry, we were so terrible that we wanted to keep our fucking number one corner and we were trying to restructure him. We couldn't. And then we were trying to get something for him rather than taking a haircut on it and then letting him go to our fucking division rival for fucking half price. Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? That's why I still fucking get, Brad, he can suck a dick, Brad, but whatever. It's like, I'm not going to put it there, but that's why I hope that when it comes to Slayton, we don't run that same course, although we might, and it's a shame. I mean, who knows? Maybe they could do something where, I don't know if you guys were reading, but with the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing, that they somehow restructured his contract and they did all this type of shit. All that was really in long run able to do was now I believe the 49ers have an extra 10 days to play around with what they could do with Jimmy G. So, like, he's kind of on the team, but he's not. They sort of restructured him. I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on the details. I'm just kind of going off of what I've read from Scheffler online and all this kind of shit, what he was tweeting out and all that kind of nonsense. But basically, that's what they kind of did. And they bought themselves another 10 days with Jimmy G. So, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. And I also know that they also involved him with his trade clause. So that if he doesn't really want to go to that team, he doesn't have to, right? He could turn it down. He can stay on the 49ers or ride the pine all season long if he chooses to. So I know some of that. And look, I don't know if this is because it's quarterbacks, it's because his contract was so big. I don't fucking know the details on that part of it, but I know they were able to do something like that so that he can still be part of the 53-man roster, 54-man roster, but they don't necessarily they can still trade him. So I don't know. Something like that.
$6.5 million. That's what they got the base salary down to. So he's tradable. Basically, that's
tradable. Right. So they made him more marketable, basically. That's what they did with that. I mean, look, could we do something similar with Slayton? I doubt it, but it's funny, guys. I do recall, and I definitely know more so Mike than John here, but I do recall guys being like, wow, he had a great rookie year, Slayton, man. He's gonna fucking be, he's gonna definitely be a fucking wide receiver too. Him and Shaq, oh my God, we got crazy weapons. Man, how time goes, huh? Now we got to get rid of this motherfucker. We take a 6th-round pick and be happy for him.
So that's it. I don't think Slayton's going anywhere. We have question marks all over the entire wide receiver room. Why would we get rid of a guy that is a proven commodity? He's not special, but he's a serviceable wide receiver who has a relationship with your quarterback the last 4 years, which is what you need. So for whatever amount of money that we're going to end up saving, which I don't remember which podcast I was listening to today or yesterday, and they were saying how it saves us like less than $1 million to get rid of him between the dead cap space and whatever it is. So it just doesn't make any sense to get rid of him if you think that he could be, somehow helpful to the team. And with Tony being injured all the time and Shepard having always injury issues, fucking Galladay being a question mark right now. Why are we looking to get rid of this guy? I just don't understand. It's the last year of his contract. Why wouldn't you want him to be in-house to fucking, help the team, help him maybe get a contract somewhere else or, get an extension here, whatever the story is, because Kenny Galladay is probably not going to be with the team too much longer. Maybe he's got next year. Shepard's probably got this year and next year, and that's it. You need receivers here. Why get rid of Slayton? I just don't get it.
$1 million ain't too bad, but I'd keep him. I think you're right, John. I prefer to keep him, especially with Galladay kind of in Brian Dable's doghouse. Apparently, since he got here, that's like the rumor going around.
Who is? What's that again?
Kenny Galladay's.
Galladay.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry. Wait. One more time, please.
Kenny
Okay.
fucking Galladay.
My number one hated fucking receivers in the doghouse. Come on, that's fucking shocking, man, Mike.
It's crazy, man. I'm so fucking pissed off and disappointed. Like, you're right, man. 30-some millions. He should be a leader in that room, and he's kind of acting like a little bitch. I wish you get in front of the media, but like, I'll be ready week 1. They could count on me, but you don't fucking hear anything from his fucking ass. But at least I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. At least throw the man some targets, because you're going to be the worthless piece of shit if you're not getting the ball thrown your way. And they just haven't fucking thrown the fucking ball in his direction at all. He's averaging like 0.2 targets in the first 3 preseason games. So he's got to get the ball through. I understand you don't get that open, you don't get that separation, but he's a guy that could go up and get the ball. So you got to fucking take chances.
But he's not. And I don't know if you guys saw it. Granted, it's preseason. I don't give a shit. But he gave a fucking Olay block. And what I mean by Olay is that if you're a bullfighter and you have the fucking red flag and the bull's coming at you, you go Olay or some shit like that, you let him run by. Did you guys not see that block that fucking Kenny Galladay did that shit with in the preseason game? He did a fucking Olay block. He was running out. He stopped. He just squared. And he just let the guy run right by him. And I'm like, dude, I watched it again and again. And I'm like, nah, he didn't.
If he does that,
like he slipped, he did something. No.
If he does that in the regular season, then that's a problem. But for preseason games, I don't give a fuck.
You know what they say, and this is why I'm getting tired of hearing that excuse. What you do in practice, what you do in the offseason, what you do in these preseason games is going to happen in the regular season. Now, look, I'm not saying if you make a mistake, you're going to continue to make that mistake. I'm not saying that, if you make a bad decision or you make an outstanding play, that all that's going to transpire and that's what's going to affect the NFL in the regular season. No, but what I'm saying is the reason why these guys practice, the reason why they do all this preseason games and playing and all scrimmages and everything else is to get better. It's to do what you do in those things. If you're a lackadaisy in all practice, if you're going in a preseason game and on some plays you're going 30, 40%, you don't think at some point during the regular season when you're tired, you're a little beat up, you might be down 10 in a game, that shit ain't going to come out? I mean, that's how these guys end up in the doghouse. I mean, look, I'm not saying Kenny Galladay's got to go 100 miles an hour on every single play. He's got to give it his all. He's got to burn himself out in fucking, August and shit. But dude, you got to fucking make an effort at times. And that's what I don't see him doing at all. So how am I supposed to think that all of a sudden he's going to go, regular season, turn it on? Because that's what we've seen him do as a Giant, right? So far, he just has that switch that he flips. He's taking over games for us. He could be a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins and fucking make any quarterback look good. No, I haven't seen any of that shit. He needed Matthew Stafford to make him the wide receiver that he is. And I brought up that name for a really good reason because we're going to talk more about him in a bit.
You said too many things. Fucking to respond.
Well, back mainly Galladay and what you do in practice does transpire into games. If you have a lazy mentality,
I don't know.
You get lazy in games, dude. It's a fact.
I mean, I feel you, but I definitely think there's an ability for some guys to once the bright lights are on, there's something gets activated in their brain. I don't know. I don't know if it's because being in sales and I kind of have that where I'm driving to an appointment, I feel fucking sluggish, but as soon as I ring the bell, I'm ready to go. I don't know, just from that perspective. But you also hear, when you listen to athletes talk and stuff like that, you hear them say that stuff all the time. You guys mentioned about the leadership thing the last couple of weeks with Kenny Galladay. I don't know. I mean, I hear you. He's making a lot of money and you'd like him to at least, be a role model, but some people don't have leadership in their blood. That's not something that you can fake. And if you don't have it, I'd rather you just shut up and just do your job. That's it. Let somebody else lead. Let Shepard be the leader. You know what I mean? If you don't have that and you don't fucking fake it, because then no one's going to respect you. And you can't have a guy getting that much money and not be respected. At least if he's quiet and he just plays hard, he'll have all the respect of everybody on the team and everybody in the fan base. And I think that it's, we're painting pictures because it's preseason and stuff like that. And he had that Olay catch, he had that Olay block, like you're saying. I get it, but I don't know. Something tells me not to worry too much about his effort once the regular season turns around. I just don't feel like he's that type of guy that he's just gonna fucking he got paid and he's checked out and he's gonna be out of the league in 2 years. I don't know. He doesn't seem like that type of guy to me.
That's the title of the show. What you do in practice, you do in the game.
Thank you. All right, and John, like, listen, let me ask you something. I know you're in sales, right? And so am I, and in that field, you do role playing, do you not?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying now. I'm not talking about 20 years into your career, but in the beginning, it was a lot of role playing, right? If a new product is introduced, they tell you different ways to propose to position that product, right? And at times they may want you to interact, right? And you do it. You don't sit back at your job, right? And I don't mean to speak for you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't mean, I don't think that literally you sit back and you're just kind of hi, my name is John, and I'd like to do this and sell you that. And no, you get into it a little bit, right? You role play a little, right? Because you know that if that becomes an instinct, that's what you're going to do when you go on the job.
Yeah, but I've also sat in enough sales meetings to know if you got a few veterans just kind of going through the motions because that's just what they're required to do. They're going to look like shit, and then they go in the field, they fucking go 3 for 4, make fucking $2,000 and go home and have a nice dinner. You know what I mean? I've also seen that side of it too. And I think when you have these world-class athletes like this, because we got to remember the guys that are in the league, you have guys that just have, Tom Brady like desire and focus to be the absolute best. We also have guys who just want to be really good and get paid. They want to win. They want to be good, but they know that they're not Mount Rushmore players. So they don't necessarily care about, being a laser in whatchamacallit, in preseason games and in practice and stuff like that. But when it comes time for the game, they want to do, especially a guy who's had a couple of injuries. Like, last thing you want to do is be throwing him the ball, him making these contested catches. He's got defensive back draped on him, and he's trying to make these catches in a preseason game. And then game 3, quarter 1, he ends up fucking, I don't know, whatever, getting a concussion. He's out for 4 weeks. Like, that doesn't help anybody. I really want to see him just come out in the first game, catch a touchdown, end that whole fucking touchdown drought for a fucking season, and just shut up, catch the ball when it's thrown to you, and everybody will respect you. The whole conversation about the offseason will go away, and by the first half, you get a couple catches and a touchdown.
Yeah, what if he catches one touchdown for 45 yards in that first game in the first quarter? This is all that just gets
and then he gets shut out the whole rest of the game. Fuck no.
No, that's fine. I mean, how many touchdowns could you expect a receiver to get?
Right. Well, you could have a couple extra catches.
Sure.
No, but I'm saying
3 for 70 or something with that touchdown.
But the narrative will stop. You know what I mean? It goes out right away, and then all of a sudden, everybody will stop chirping.
Yeah, no one's going to mention the preseason, or they'll mention the preseason and just the way that we are now with saying, Kenny Galladay. I mean, I guess next year, week 4 rolls around, he's got fucking 3 touchdowns, he's got 300 yards. Like, no one's going to care about the preseason. They can, they'll be like, all right, well, next preseason we're not going to expect a ton from him, but once the season rolls around, we can expect this player to step up. That's what you want.
Let me ask you guys something. Would you say that there's a difference between someone being a leader, go-get leader, and someone that's a mentor? Would you say there's a difference?
I mean, you could be a mentor without being a leader of men.
Thank you. So at least if
role model, that's what you want as a role model.
If we at least seen Kenny Galladay be a little bit of a mentor, hey, let me grab Robinson over here. Come here, guy. Come here, Tony. Look, guys, I've been in the league for 7-8 years already. Here's what to expect. Here's what I did. Look, here's what's going on with practice. Don't get yourself bent out of shape over this. That's not being a leader. That's just talking from experience. Just like you were saying, those same guys, John, that you had mentioned earlier, that you said that when you're going through some of those sales pitches and practices, they just kind of go through the motion. But when they get out there and the lights go on, they hit the fucking ground running and they shine like stars. How many times has one of those guys grabbed you to the side, or you grab them to the side, or you grab someone and told them a little bit of insight? Say, look, man, listen to this, but try doing it this way. You know what? Get a little bit feel. It's a little bit better to come from your heart, and just use that kind of stuff as the guideline, right? That's all Kenny Galladay's got to fucking do, man. Instead of him being a prima donna, throwing his hands up in the air in practice, not blocking on a fucking play, at least put your hands on the fucking dude. You don't got to block him, just put a fucking hand there. Are we scared you're going to hurt your wrist? That's the other thing, too. Yes, these guys get hurt. They play through it. There's some that are warriors, but you cannot play scared to get hurt. You got to just fucking play, man. And that's, if you're playing not to get hurt, that maybe it isn't a lack of effort that we're seeing out of him. Maybe it's that he's a fucking afraid he's going to get hurt because that's all he fucking does is get hurt. And now he's playing soft because he doesn't want to get hurt again. Oh, what's going to happen? You're going to go out in the season, you're going to get hurt.
It's preseason. Why risk it? Look how many people we've gotten injured, especially on the Giants roster specifically. Like it's real. Like it's a certain percentage of players are going to get hurt. Why waste those injuries in the preseason? That's all I'm saying. It could just be him being lazy, and he could just be fucking paid, and he's good, and no big deal. He doesn't have a desire to be great. Well, that's possible too. And we're gonna find out in fucking 13 days or whatever it is.
Yeah, but you know what sucks with that is, and I think this may lead us into that. Mike, did you have something to say? I cut you off there.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I was gonna say because he also has all the fucking excuses in the world right now. Okay. Oh, fucking Daniel Jones ain't that good. Oh, I had no one else around me on the team. Listen, I'm telling you what could present itself, right? Now, look, if it turns out that Daniel Jones throws for 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, Kadarius Toney has 1,000 yards, Wendell has about 900. Bellinger has fucking 600. Barkley has 400. We're lighting it up like that. And then Galladay has 600. He can't say a fucking word. But now if Toney fucking plays 10 games and Wendell is still getting adjusted to the NFL and he's more of that gadget player, and Bellinger's a rookie tight end, so maybe he gets around 450 yards receiving, and all of a sudden Galladay's 700 for 60 catches and 5 touchdowns. Oh, I'm a star. I'm a stud. No, you ain't. You ain't shit, bro. You suck. So you got to take things into proportion with that kind of shit. So I'm telling you right now, he could fucking have a scapegoat to this entire season if shit hits the fan.
Yeah, to who?
To the fans, to the media,
he's not going to say that.
To other teams.
Come out and say any of that.
Better yet, other teams. You know what I mean? They still want to keep marketing themselves and selling themselves, right? Hence what we're going to get into in a few minutes, right? But that's what it's all about. It's all about your image. So if you're going to sit back and be like, yo, the Giants didn't use me right. You saw what I did in Detroit with Stafford. Bro, I came here. I had a quarterback, couldn't even throw the ball. Offensive line couldn't block. They wouldn't even hit me deep. They couldn't reach me. You know what I mean? And some teams going to buy into that bullshit. That's what happens.
That sounds like it could possibly definitely happen. I have to agree with you right there, man. That seems like the right excuses because they're kind of real. And I got to be honest with you. If he's going to be honest and he says kind of stuff like that, I could see that being the case. But we gotta move on from the whole Kenny Galladay. I could tell, Jules, you're angry at him. I'm angry at the fucking.
He's got a lot to prove me.
I tell you what, I'm angry at. I'm angry at the people that are all of a sudden all giant social media on Davis Webb dick yesterday, right? I'm like, if you listen to this podcast, you would have heard me. I was on his dick last week. All right, I was telling you how good Davis Webb is. So
he slings it, bro. He's not afraid to play football.
Ball placement. He's putting it right on the money, man. But besides that, I just want to go through the injuries before we take a quick commercial break because we've been talking about injuries. This team is just the most injury-riddled team. Kadarius Toney, he's still out a little bit. Graham Gano, concussion. Tyrod Taylor, you seen what happened to him. We talked about Jalen Holmes, concussion, defensive end for the Giants. Bellinger, our only tight end on the roster, apparently, concussion. Ellerson Smith, still with the lower leg. You got Joshua, the rookie, the guard. He's probably not going to make it for week 1. So we got to have a week 1 left guard starter somewhere. Ben Bredesen, he's still out with his elbow. Rodarius Williams, cornerback, knee. Dane Belton, he started practicing a little bit, but he was ruled out for the preseason game, the final game. Aziz went down with a calf injury at the end of practice the other day. Jameel Douglas, our guard center, that was playing pretty well. His ankle, Jalan Feliciano. Shane Lemieux still out. He's not making it back. So, Colin Johnson going down with the Achilles in training camp. It's just it's starting again, fellas. That's unfortunately where we are. The most injury-riddled NFL football team. It's really nuts. Really nuts.
Hold on. Out of all that list you just read, how many are significant enough where they're saying they're going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks or something in that range?
Nothing like that,
right?
But Shane Lemieux, he's been out close to 3 now, so he's probably going to be in that range.
Yeah, and Brian Dable, so don't expect him anytime soon. Also,
right? No, certain guys I get. No, I'm not saying everybody, but that whole list.
You hope everybody plays.
15, 20 names, right? I think a lot of times, especially in this point in the year, they do what they do in baseball. And something I noticed about baseball about maybe 10, 15 years ago, when a pitcher's getting a little tired, as they're in that like July, August turn of the season, and they may have had like 2 back-to-back bad outings, the team's up, they got a comfortable lead, or they're only a couple games out. All of a sudden, this fucking pitcher ends up on the IL, or what they used to call the DL, right? And you're like Nestor Cortez, he's making his way back. Nestor Cortez is fine. Bro, they limit it. It's a way to limit their innings without actually limiting their innings. It gives them a chance to get back. You see the same thing happen with these hitters. So I think there's a little bit of that going on with football currently. Like, you don't want to push anybody any further. You don't want to risk these injuries. Let's give it till after next week, after the cut, after we know whose team is what, we're getting ready for Tennessee, and that first injury report comes out. Let's focus on that one, because that's going to be the one that really tells the tape as to where we are as far as injuries are concerned.
Yeah, there was a bunch of players that already even said that if this was the regular season, they wouldn't be off to the side. They'd be practicing and they'd be playing football.
Right.
But this time of year, I mean, now they've been in camp for a month now. They've played a few games already. They've had a couple joint practices with the Jets and whatever else. So they've played enough football to kind of like not necessarily need to worry about that end of it. Just now, I mean, listen, the preseason's fucking over. Like the year goes so fast. By the time people listen to this, they'll be able to say September's tomorrow. Like it's crazy how fast time goes. And we're 13 days away from the regular season. Now fucking it's all systems go. Tomorrow going to get huge cut down. It's like 500 and something different NFL players are going to be cut tomorrow. And they'll probably grab themselves a tackle. They'll grab themselves another cornerback because they definitely need somebody out there.
Tight end.
Yeah, tight end or two. But it is what it is. We're fucking here. You can't complain about the injuries like that. That's what it is.
Next week, by the time we're on the podcast, we'll let you know who we signed. So we're going to definitely sign somebody. But we got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We'll come right back into the Haters Club and wrap this show up. We'll be right back on the BBO NYG podcast. All right, we are back on the BBO NYG podcast. I'm Mike. That's Jules. That's John. Haters Club this week. Who had the Haters Club nominee? Was it you, John?
Welcome all you ignorant ass bitches, critics, complainers, disgruntled rappers, and racists especially, to the 9th annual International Player Haters Ball. Oh man, hey.
I did.
Real quick though, I just want to make something public real fast before we get really into the true Haters Club, okay? That's the only reason why I want to jump in real quick, because I can't say that this guy.
Surprise.
I was gonna say I can't say that this guy was a hater, can I? But he stirred up a big conversation that's gonna lead right into John's fucking Hater Club. So that's the reason why I kind of just jumped in for a quick moment. And this is Barkley at Goat Barkley. And the reason why I'm shouting him out is because him and I are going to have a bet. It pertains on one individual player actually now coming back and getting healthy and signing with the team. But that stirred up a shit ton of things on fucking Twitter, and everybody agreed to the point where he must have gotten about 25 likes on the comment of, did you not watch him at all on the Rams? He caught a TD in the last year's Super Bowl. You're smacked if you think that dude is washed. So we're going to talk about Odell Beckham, John. All right. And yes, the bet that I have with Barkley is if he does come back, we will do an over-under depending on what team and at what point in the season he comes back for yards, catches, and touchdowns. And then obviously whoever wins 2 out of the 3 categories, if not all 3 categories, ends up winning our bet.
Saquon or Odell? Which one are you talking about?
No. So the actual guy's Twitter handle is Saquon at Goat Barkley.
So the bet's about Odell.
Sorry. I said that wrong. It's Barkley. He's got a picture of Saquon. That's what threw me off. So it's just Barkley at Goat Barkley. Goat. G-O-A-T. Goat.
Okay, but what's the bet about? Saquon or the bet about is it
No,
Odell?
The bet's on Odell Beckham. That's why I was kind of setting you up, man. I was putting like the appetizer out there for your main course on the Haters Club. But,
I mean, listen, Odell's a free agent. Odell's looking to get a contract with somebody. He finally, in one game kind of revitalized, his career in a sense is just being able to be like a receiver that somebody would want on their team. And he's like anybody else trying to get New York involved that way with the market that New York is. other teams will start getting more interested, and he'll raise his value on the market. That's all that is. You know, somebody on Twitter said something, and he's like, "Oh, I miss my squad." Yeah, you fucking miss your squad. Okay, you fucking hated it here when you were here. You miss us now. Okay, so go back to fucking LA. Go fucking Dallas. I don't give a fuck where you go because you're gonna be injured anyway. But that's not who I was nominated for the Haters Club. The whole genesis of this was, like you said, Shannon and Skip were talking about Odell, where he was going to go, and then I wanted to nominate Shannon fucking for my nominee because it's just like a ridiculous shot at fucking Daniel Jones, saying Odell would never want to come here because of Daniel Jones, that he was about to lose out on the job to Tyrod Taylor. And it was like a foregone conclusion. Have you watched any of the preseason?
No.
What do you, like? I just don't understand the point of these guys. Like, I mean, I do get the point. I shouldn't even say that. It's just like in the moment you get fucking annoyed. Like, don't you have like a professional pride to like be accurate in what you're talking about? Like, don't you feel like a little dirty just saying the wild shit just to say the wild shit for the fact of ratings because people don't care about your show or whatever the story is? Like, if you don't believe in it, then why even fucking say it? Or are you just a racist because he's fucking black and Daniel Jones is white and he gets the fucking white guy vibe? Is that what it is? Because there's nobody at all, any of the reporters at practice, any of the fucking coaches, any reason whatsoever to believe that Tyrod Taylor had any even slight chance of taking the job from Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor's thrown multiple interceptions in the preseason, legitimate interceptions, gets sacked. Like, he's okay for a backup quarterback, and that's exactly what he is. Daniel Jones has been a starter in the league and will be a starter in the league under 3 different regimes. Like, he's fine.
I thought
losing his job to fucking Tyrod Taylor. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I thought Shannon Sharp was literally doing crack or something, because I'm like, how do you compare Tyrod and Daniel Jones? Have you, like, he just didn't do his homework. He didn't watch the preseason games, because he would have been like, I'd rather have Davis Webb start over fucking Tyrod.
Exactly.
You would have that comparison instead of the comparison of Tyrod. So maybe, John, maybe you could be right. It could be like a black thing, because sometimes, you know, they feel like they have to stick up for the black quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a weird, like, little dynamic right there, because meanwhile, you look around the league, like half the starting quarterbacks are great black quarterbacks, like, you know, Lamar, Russell Wilson. So it's like, I don't get that, man. I don't get that at all.
Well, they're also half white, some of those guys. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. Not pretend like that's not the case.
That's true.
Just because you're half black doesn't make you all black. You also got some white in there.
And just to kind of push things further, though, Mike, I think Shannon Sharp did pay attention to the fucking the preseason, because he said, and I quote, "If Tyrod didn't get hurt, he was going to run that spot." What? Go back and listen to it. You can get that shit on.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I said.
It like that, though. He was like, yo, he was going to, like, I'm like, at what point in time? Where did you see that? Tyrod Taylor wouldn't be fucking starting game 3 with the backups if that was the fucking case. Then it would have been fucking, you know, 3rd string quarterback going all day, and maybe they would have had someone else. Maybe Davis Webb would have had a fucking backup, and that would have been the end of it.
He didn't even need to see this preseason. Just look at the past 4 years of Tyrod playing ball. He's obviously not a starter in the NFL, you jackass.
Not anymore, at least. You know, look, he had his time. He had some really good seasons. If you look back on this, and I'm pretty sure I said this a couple weeks back, Tyrod Taylor's going to say and turn around and say he had a really great fucking NFL career. Can't take that away. He did. Got played multiple years. He's in you know, double digits in the league. He's still a quality backup quarterback. Like, fuck. You know what? Not everybody is Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So, like, That's a good fucking NFL career. When that dude's fucking 50-something years old and maybe he's talking to grandkids or nephews and nieces and shit, he's going to be able to say, yo, I played in the NFL for like 15, 20 years. Like, I had a great career. Great that I didn't fucking win a Super Bowl or fucking, you know, make the Hall of Fame, but doesn't mean I didn't have a great career.
You could tell his family about like the 6 different places he went because he was a traveling quarterback. So at least he got to see like scenic routes and shit in museums or whatever the fuck, because he lived everywhere.
Oh, you know, this is not even that. Like, bro, he partied in a few different cities.
Yes.
You know, he was part of different fan bases. He can let you know what's what and who's a really good one, who's not so much a good one. You know,
Get those
insight
Texas
like
women.
that dude knows, man. He's worked with how many different coaches throughout the years, legendary, some of them, right? You know, like, that's a fucking awesome career. Dude could write a fucking book. And, like, I'm sure he's got stories for days, you know?
He's
like,
getting ass.
fun.
He got ass from Texas bitches. He got ass from New York bitches now. Like he's getting ass from every fucking place, man.
Different
Good for
area
him.
codes.
Good for Tyrod, man. Good for Tyrod. Do you guys have anybody?
Well, you know what,
nominate?
Skip? I tried to hate on Skip on that whole little thing, and I couldn't. But Skip threw one sort of like a little jab, if you would. He was like, once Sharp starts speaking, he comes on and he's like, OBJ wants to come to the Giants. He goes, I don't know, is Eli still there? Did Eli not retire? And I'm like, really, dude? I thought he was going to go into one of his things, but then he backed off, and that was just his little like comment there. And I'm like, I get it. Look, and just one quick thing. Look, we noticed, we've said it a million times. We beat it with a fucking dead horse. We've gone over it in depth throughout this preseason. Daniel Jones got a lot to prove. Period. Stop. We notice he's got an opportunity, but the reason why, well, not the reason, but one of the main reasons that I am so on top of Galladay is that this dude was brought in to be that guy. He can't step up and be a leader. Fine. He doesn't want to be a mentor. Fine. Now he doesn't look like he does shit in practice. So now I got to hope that with all those red flags going on all this offseason, that he's going to step up and he's going to be that guy for fucking Daniel Jones. Because someone has to. Maybe. All right. Tony is always MIA on the fucking field. All right. Shepard, you know what? The dude's making an amazing comeback and he'll get out there. And I know Jones has a great chemistry with him, but we don't know what we're going to get out of Shepard this year. We don't know how effective he's going to be all season long. I just want to see this guy play 1 year with a healthy receiving core. And I just want to see what Jones could do. He's got the line. Line looks good right now. We can't complain. He's got a fucking pocket looking good. I just want to see some of these guys healthy, man.
It'd be nice to stay. It'd be real nice to stay.
Tony played 14
I think
Galladay, like, fuck.
Galladay, like, I think needs to go to pick up Ahmad Bradshaw, bring a gun, put it in his jogger pants, go to the nightclub and shoot himself so we could get out of this disaster of a contract. But yeah, by the way, that Odell like little thing where he's like, oh, I miss my squad. Everybody knows that was fake, right? That wasn't an actual tweet from Odell Beckham.
What?
So like somebody photoshopped that shit and then people fell for it. Because if you go back and look at OBJ's page and tweets or whatever, that does not exist.
So maybe he took it down?
No, because he did come up with when he's responded to Prince Amakamura or whatever, when Prince was like, oh, Odell back to the Giants, and Odell just looked out with his eyes or some shit. He did something stupid like LOL. So it's just not happening. The New York Odell lovers just want him back so bad so they can suck his dick. It's crazy. It's crazy already. I loved him too, guys, but you got to chill. He's not the same player anymore. He's coming off 2 fucking banged up ACLs.
Dude, I was trying to say that because they were like making this whole big thing about what he did down the stretch and then what he did in the Super Bowl. I'm like, there's 4 other receivers I take over him in the Super Bowl. All right, like this fucking ended there. Like he's not even number 1 in the Super Bowl. Right. I'm like, you know how many receivers caught touchdown passes or had a good drive for a Super Bowl and then they fucking disappeared the rest of the game? Like, and I know he got hurt, so I'm not saying that, but like, dude, you're telling me you're not gonna take Jamar Chase over fucking Odell Beckham? I'll take T. Higgins over him. Fuck, I might even take Tyler Boyd over him. All right. And I'm not even going to have to mention Cobb, all right? The fucking best wide receiver in the NFL last year. Like, fuck yeah, I'm taking him over there. Like, bro, I can go through a list of probably 30 to 40 receivers that I'd rather have than Odell Beckham right now in this part of his career. And that's what I'm trying to tell these guys. He's not Odell that we saw grew to love after he makes that, fucking one-handed grab and fucking turns the highlight reels and had 90 catches for like 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns. He's not the guy anymore. Injuries catch up to you because I tried to say he's on the wrong side of 30, and I almost got my head taken off on Twitter with all the fucking responses I got. And I'm like, guys, you got to understand. Yes, there are really quality receivers that are still at the age of 30 or a little older that still put up those same numbers. Cup is getting in now. Hopkins, I can name a few guys, right?
Please don't.
But, dude, when you have injury like that after injury after injury after injury, it ages your body. Your body does not respond like it does. So he's not a normal 30-year-old wide receiver due to injuries. That's the only thing. It's due to injuries when your body gets beat up. Like Peyton Manning. You don't think Peyton Manning wanted to play another 4 or 5 years? He probably could have, but he had that fucked up neck. That was it, bro. He was he was a shell of himself in that last year. It wasn't that he couldn't go on. He couldn't do it. Oh, he sucks. He's too old. No, he got injured. That's it. It happens. Like, that's what I'm saying. But the point of the matter is like, how many injuries is Odell going to keep coming back from and then being nasty and being effective? He was open in the Super Bowl because the fucking Bengals didn't know what to get out of him, and they were more concerned about Cooper Kupp. That's why he was open. As soon as I think they moved Jalen over on him before he got hurt, and then they started doubling Kupp. It was a wrap. That was it. There was no more Odell. They shut down the Rams for a little while. Like, so please with that shit, man. Enough is enough. He's a fucking shell of what he used to be. And I would never want him on the Giants unless he was coming here because he said he wanted to retire a Giant and wanted to play his last like season or two as one. And he knew he was going to be like a wide receiver 4 for the season. That's about it.
All right. I'm done talking about Odell.
Fuck Odell. That's it.
Odell's a wrap. So just give you guys a heads up before we sign out. We got to record the next podcast I'm doing. I guess we could sign up for the pick'em pool at PlayAction Pools. You guys probably got the email sent out. I guess set it up. We'll do the pick'em segment again like we did last year. We'll go by the spread. So sign up for that. I don't know if there'll be a prize this year or not. Stay tuned for that. We'll talk about it. We'll see how many people sign up. So go to that. Go to the playactionpools.com. Look for the BBO NYG podcast pick'em pool. All right, guys. So let's wrap it up.
Pick'em pool fantasy. This is a big week for you guys. I can't give off too many of my sleepers or picks that I like simply because Mike and I didn't get to do a draft this past weekend. So that has now been postponed till Thursday. So next week we'll kind of do like a fantasy recap. I do know there are some people that draft late. So there is a couple of drafts that will be lining up. So if you do catch the show last week and you do one of those late drafts, maybe we might give you a couple of players that you were a little unsure of. And go from there. But yes, I'm fucking drafting the whole rest of the week. So my mind is going to be on fantasy until at least fucking Saturday. But before you know it, it's another week off and then football season kicks off. So, you know, we're how many days away there, John? At this point in time, I mean, we're under like the 2-week mark here, right?
12 days, 18 hours, 42 minutes, and 37 seconds.
There it is till football starts. So all this talk, all the speculation, all the nonsense, all who should be starting, who should be sitting, who should be not on the team any longer, all going to come to a head in like less than 13 days. And then everything's going to start rolling from there. We're going to have our first game. You guys can come at me if Galladay goes off for 7 for 100 and a touchdown, which I know he won't. But if he does, you come at me. And that's the end of it. But until then, sign up for what is it, Mike? What can they sign up for the pick'em pool again?
At playactionpools.com and search for the BBO NYG podcast pick'em pool.
We had a lot of fun with that. We brought the winner on from last year. Got a little bit of a late start in promoting it this season, but that's okay. We got time to jump on. Maybe we'll even fucking wait till week 2 if we get a lot of responses and everybody really wants to join, and we'll figure out prizes and everything from there. But that's always fun because you'll be hearing us talk about our picks all season long, in addition to fantasy, in addition to the Giants talk as well. But listen, that wraps up another episode of the BBO NYG podcast. Hit the like, subscribe. We like it. Tell a friend. And we'll see you guys next week. Talk to you then. Peace.
Peace.